Good evening, and welcome to the City Council Utilities Committee meeting. It's Monday, November 4th, and it's 6 p.m. My name is Doug Tremblay. To my left is Mr. Phillips, and to my right is Mr. Swayzer. And we're here this evening to discuss two issues. One about moving some funds around on our SCADA project, and the other one about a project for some water lines. Mr. Titterton, will you lead us in the discussion?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item is with regards to the water or wastewater services. The SCADA project that you authorized required Arcadis, an engineering firm, to do some programming work associated with it. In the budget, we estimated that to be $210,000. When we came to you for authorization, we asked for $170,000. That $210,000 was 170 plus possible contingency. When we came to you and asked for authorization, we only asked for the $170,000. They're nearing completion of the actual construction work to get the plant and the system automated, and Arcadis is seeing that there's a lot more programming nuances that they've got to work out, and they're estimating that those will cost an additional $35,000 of the $40,000 contingency that we budgeted but didn't get authorized. So we are coming back to you asking to be able to increase the initial authorization from $170,000 to $205,000.
And you're also asking for emergency?
I am, because the project is nearing completion. They haven't spent that $35,000, but to keep the project on track, as you recall, the sooner we can get it automated, the sooner we can change our operating, staffing, hours, et cetera, at the plant. So time is of the essence.
I just had a question on that $35,000. Actually, there was a contingency fund of $40,000, which we're going to use that up by putting it into the programming part for from the construction phase to the programming part.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
So my question, do you have any questions, Mr. Phillips?
Yes, staff had initially asked or indicated that we believed it would be the $205,000, and why did we undercut that to the $170,000? Why didn't we go ahead and leave that amount in there to begin with?
The contract amount that we were told was the $170,000. That's what was bid to us, and so that's what we came to you with.
Okay, so the $205,000 was the estimate by staff?
That was what we had put into the budget, didn't we? Between the construction and the design.
There was contingencies. We kind of put had more contingency in the construction side and less on the engineering side, the programming side, and we really need it on the programming side, and we didn't have it in the right place.
Okay, all right. Okay. I just was wondering, you know, on the bid side, coming from them, well, that explanation explains why we're missing the $35,000.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'm up to speed on that, fine with it, thank you.
John, you have any questions?
This was all budgeted, wasn't it? I mean, we originally budgeted the 205.
Yes, with the SCADA project, this was all between the construction and the design work. We are far under the overall budget that we put in.
Yeah, we're all under our authorization that we had. It's just switching money from the construction side to the engineering side.
Was that part of the pro forma when we did the original?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
I have nothing further.
Do you have another question?
Yes, and can anyone actually say what SCADA means, what it stands for?
Tim
Tim
doesn't
can.
really.
And you'll understand why we're laughing at
No,
this one.
okay.
That stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition.
Thank you.
What about Arcadis?
That's the company.
No, that's just a company, yeah, I don't know.
Tim, I asked that same question the first time this came before us. That's all I have.
I have no further questions.
I have nothing.
How do you feel on this issue?
Do you want to ask
Ask Mr.
the
Clark.
other council
Oh,
members?
Ms. Clark,
or-
do you have any
Yeah.
questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, I appreciate it.
sorry.
I just had one question. This has saved us a considerable amount of money, has it not? The SCADA system,
Not yet, but it's planned to because of the staff savings that we're going to have once the automation comes in. We do estimate that fairly soon we will start seeing retirements and then be able to reprogram the scheduling out at the plant and change the shifts around. And we had built that into the pro forma when we presented the project to you.
from our initial discussion, that's, if I recall right, that's what I recalled, that it was initially intended to save us a considerable amount of money. And I just wanted to see where we were in that savings. Thank you.
This was a 5.5-year payback projected.
Sounds about right,
Is
yes.
that, okay.
Mary, you have any questions? No other questions? Do you feel that?
I'm good with moving forward with the emergency.
Yeah, I'm okay with staff recommendation.
We'll move forward with emergency recommendation.
Excellent.
Second item is requesting, excuse me, a professional services agreement with EMH&T, a Columbus engineering firm, to design a water line project at a cost not to exceed $65,240. In the water rate plan, we included the provision for $10 million worth of capital improvements to the water system that would be bonded, and the debt service then was included in the rates pro forma. We are looking at breaking that $10 million worth of improvements into 2 or 3 phases. The first phase being a $3 million project that will consist of 4 sections or 4 areas of waterline improvements, upgrades, replacements, etc. There are 4 distinct projects within that $3 million. 3 of those projects will be able to be done by design firms under the $50,000 authorization limit. So there are 3 of them that will be going. There are 3 different firms, 3 different projects. This one, because of its size and scope, is EMH&T is the best and low bidder, if you will, even though the professional services process is a little different than a straight bid. But they are estimating $65,240 to do that particular project. And so we are asking that you authorize us to do that as emergency legislation. And the reason for that is that the other 3 will be ongoing, and this one will could take the longest amount of time. We are gearing up to come back to you soon to start the process for a $5 million bond approval, $3 million water, $2 million in sewer, which is built into their rate pro forma over in the sewer side, fairly soon, so that we can make sure that we get the lowest bond rates possible. Our bond counsel has told us that now is a good time to do it. As soon as we get the design work underway to a point, then we will want to go out to the bond market as soon as possible.
And these 4 projects were identified even as the study just started. Is that all preliminarily, according to the information here says the preliminary findings found those 4 projects or something.
Oh, yeah, we've been doing master plan updates in both the water and the sewer system, and they have identified these 4 projects as being,
Right up front.
yeah, the first ones that we should look at.
Any questions? Bobby?
Yes, sir, thank you. Do we have, there was nothing indicated in the documentation we got for the committee report on the locations of the loops that we're talking about doing.
For this one, Barnhart, Oak, Frank, and Scott Street area.
I'm sorry, Barnhart, where?
Barnhart Road, Oak Street, Frank Street, Scott Street, all in that area.
And are these going to be of any inconvenience to any residential or commercial areas, you know, such as the North Market Street project that we just went through? Are we going to have any issues of that sort?
When construction is done, there will be some inconvenience. Most of the time, the water line is gonna go in the road at some point in time. Until the design is completed, we won't know where in the road it's going. But when we are working in the Oak, those neighborhoods there, we're putting a water line down the middle of a street that people live at. So, I mean, it's gonna be an inconvenience to drive through there. It won't necessarily mean the road is closed. And water line only is a very short project, so.
Well, with the water line, the disruption of services, will we just do a kind of a one disconnect, one hookup once the physical stuff is in the
Yeah,
ground?
we'll install a new line, where we're replacing those lines. We'll install the new line, we'll get the new tap all ready, and then we will work with any property owners to make sure it's just a real quick switch from one to the other.
Okay, all right. And in any of the commercial areas that we're dealing with?
I don't know that we have any projects that are in commercial areas at all. If we do, we'll still work with the businesses, but I don't know that we have projects that I can think of that have commercial properties.
Okay. And this will improve water flow, water pressure, continuity, fire service, and some other issues that need to be cleaned up. Is
That's
that
correct. This first part is getting in loops that we need to have, where we have dead ends, so we need to get the looping in to help with pressure and specifically flow. And then upsizing a lot of small 2-inch lines up to the 6 or 8-inch lines that are the minimum required.
Okay. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
John, do you have any questions?
You answered one of mine, which was, are we upsizing the lines? How much different is what we're doing or want to do on Barnhart and Oak and Scott Streets, Frank Street? How much different is that than what we wanted to do on Drury Lane?
On the Oak Streets and all those streets, same kind of work. Same kind of work. On Drury Lane, we had a 10-inch line there. We wanted to just put a new 10-inch line in. We will be getting that done with a different phase of this project. On Oak Street, for example, there's a 2-inch line there. We're gonna put it up, I'm not sure if it's a 6 or an 8-inch, but, so we're upsizing. On Drury, we weren't upsizing, but it's the same kind of project where we'll be replacing a line that's existing.
Okay. I know we had originally bid that out, and are we gonna rebid that? I know we're not on here, but,
We will rebid that next year, in 2014.
okay. I have nothing further.
Mr. Clark, did you have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, I did. Why, I can understand Barnhart Road. Will this make us more amenable to bringing in industry and business by upgrading the water lines?
This specific project on Barnhart will not do that. We have 2 dead-end lines that are large. One's a 12 and one's a 16-inch line. When they're dead-end lines like that, you have chlorine residual problems, a lot of extra flushing that's required, and this will connect the line that is a 16-inch that goes through that Hawks Nest subdivision and comes out to 718 and stops. And then we have a 12-inch line on 55 right near the Speedway. And so they're going to be designing the line to connect those 2 dead ends so that we have better flow of water and we don't have the maintenance issues that we have right now.
Okay, and why, on Oak Street, for example, why are we going from a 2-inch line to a 6-inch line? Why not from a 2-inch to a 4-inch?
because the Ohio EPA won't let you put in anything smaller than 6 inch.
That's a great answer.
Enough said.
Enough said.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan. Mayor,
No,
any
I'm
questions? Staff, any questions? Seeing none? Move forward
Is this
with-
emergency?
With emergency, yes, emergency's been asked for.
Yes.
It's unanimous. Move forward with emergency.
All right.
Is there anything to bring before the Utilities Committee?
No, sir.
We will adjourn the committee. Thank you.